John Spencer is a retired US Army major who is currently chair of urban warfare studies at West Point's Modern Warfare Institute. He is also the author of a number of books, including Connected Soldiers. Thank you for being with us this hour from Colorado Springs. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
I want you to listen to the Chief of Staff of the IDF with a few details on the Israeli ground operation ongoing in Gaza. Here he is.
The forces continue to dismantle the front defense lines of Hamas in the northern Gaza and to take control of central areas. We continue to intensify our operation and to advance according to plan and to the targets that we've set.
At this point, it seems Israeli ground forces are not taking and holding ground. How soon would you expect to see that happen? And when it does, will that make them more vulnerable as targets for Hamas militants?
I mean, everything I'm seeing right now is a very well-planned, deliberate attack involving moving forward slowly and deliberately, clearing those defensive lines with bulldozers and mine-clearing equipment to where they could do the first step in any large-scale combat operation like this, like a city, like Gaza City. The first step is to isolate it, to surround it and cut it off, the enemy's ability to move in and out of the area. I wouldn't say they're not holding ground, not that's their intention. Their intention is to clear ground, and they've cleared up to that point actually a lot faster than I thought they would.
So is this all pretty much going to plan? I mean, they issued this evacuation order for the north of Gaza. A lot of residents followed that advice. They're now in the south. They do seem to have a clear run at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, while every civilian casualty is a travesty, by all really measures of the history of urban warfare, the IDF have taken extraordinary steps. I mean, they evacuated 80% of that million. While the call of impossible was made after the 24 hours, the IDF actually has taken 4 weeks to evacuate as much as possible and continues to call for the evacuation because you want 100% of civilians out of the combat area, although that's never happened in the history of warfare.
Here's how the Times of Israel describe what could be lying ahead for Israeli troops. Taking Gaza City, they report, will be a daunting task for Israel's military, whose aspirations of ousting the terror group will force soldiers to fight through the crowded urban labyrinth, thought awash with bombs and booby traps and undercut by a vast network of tunnels used by terrorists to ambush or surprise troops. Before Israel ordered that evacuation of northern Gaza, the population density in parts of Gaza City was more than 500 people per 100 square meters. Many have left, others have stayed. So given how deeply embedded, though, Hamas is within the civilian population, both the infrastructure, the Hamas infrastructure and the civilian infrastructure, is it possible to destroy Hamas without a painfully high number of civilian casualties, even though many have left the area?
Absolutely not. Unfortunately, that is modern warfare. Despite all the laws of war that have been created since World War II, I can't point you to a seamless battle, not the Battle of Fallujah, not the Battle of Mosul, where you could say there's 0 civilian casualties. You do everything you can to get all the civilians out. And like you said, that will be a long, bloody, destructive battle if they move forward into Gaza City. Well, it will look like they indiscriminately leveled the city when they actually didn't. It's unfortunate, the nature of urban warfare. I mean, even the civilian casualties that we're seeing now, if we believe the reporting, is not unlike battles that we've seen even supported by the U.S.
On Tuesday, 9 Israeli soldiers who were on the ground in the Jabalia refugee camp, which is just a few miles northeast of Gaza City, they were killed when their armored vehicle was hit by an anti-tank missile fired by Hamas fighters. Not long after that, the camp was hit by an Israeli airstrike. It's been hit 3 times now. The death toll and the devastation has sparked outrage among Palestinians. Israel says the target was Hamas leader as well as the tunnel infrastructure. But my question is, would that airstrike have been ordered with this ground offensive also in mind? A big part of that camp has now been destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, personally, understanding, having been to refugee camps in the West Bank and other near, I mean, they have been camps since 1948. These are cities. Would that strike have happened? Absolutely. I think by all measures of the law of war, if that was the target, the military target, even with the assessment of the intended damage, it could still be viewed as legal. And the greatest thing that can be done is to continue to encourage the civilians to leave the combat area.
Just very quickly, the Israeli airstrike has cleared out a large part of their camp, and as you say, it's more of a city. It's cement, cinder blocks, corrugated iron, that kind of stuff, which has grown up over 70 years or so. But would that airstrike have been part of the clearing operation, if you like, for these troops to get to Gaza City?
Absolutely. I mean, it's an intel-driven. It sounds more like an intel-driven strike, where a high-valued military target, as in a commander and his soldiers, in a underground bunker forward of the troops along the avenue of approach to achieve that strategic objective to destroy all military capability of Hamas. Absolutely, it would.
Major Spencer, thank you for your time. We've gone a little bit over, but thank you very much for being with us. Very much appreciated, sir.
Thank you.